Cost of renting is officially at crisis point. That's according to new data, which shows for the first time on record, at least 2 of our main cities are entirely unaffordable, the others not far behind.
You do the right thing, scheduling every inspection you can until your inbox is nothing but hundreds of automated, "Thank you for confirming your inspection. Sorry, you've been unsuccessful. Try again next time." And it absolutely crushes you.
Keegan is on a disability support pension, currently searching for a more affordable rental, something that's increasingly out of reach.
It feels like you're just endlessly pushing a button and not getting any sort of reward from it.
Keegan is just one of millions of Aussies under severe rental stress. Australia's annual Rental Affordability Index showing for the first time ever, tenants in Perth and Sydney are spending more than 30% of their weekly income on rent, the official figure tipping households into financial hardship.
Many people are struggling. Rents are continuing to rise at a pretty rapid pace, continuing to outstrip incomes.
And the suffering extends across the nation. Rents rising unaffordably everywhere except the ACT and Tasmania.
It's diabolical. People are really struggling to pay to keep a roof over their heads.
I'd like to be living in a different area where things are more accessible, but you don't get those options anymore.
The situation is even worse for those on JobSeeker, with Centrelink recipients reportedly spending almost 90% of their income on rent. For singles on the payment, the cost of housing is now extremely or critically unaffordable.
I almost wound up on the street, not because I had no money, but because every rental I go to, there's 100 other people going to and applying to the exact same rental. It's a numbers game, and one side doesn't have the right numbers anymore.
So with a critical housing shortage and no interest rate relief on the horizon, are we sliding towards an unstoppable homelessness crisis?
The way to solve this problem is to build enough homes to meet the growing needs of Australians. We haven't done that in recent decades in Australia, and that remains the long-term solution to this crisis.
I desperately wish the pressure would stop. I don't know what the future's going to bring, but I don't see anything good.
Very sad, isn't it? This is what's been going on for decades. This is the build-up, so we are thousands and thousands of houses down. There is some solutions out there, first of all, for those public housing out there, for those people that are below that poverty line. We have elderly and others living that are 1 in a 3-bedroom house. And state governments haven't got the courage to say, we're moving you into a 1-bedroom unit. And it seems to be a lot more of them around. So families have actually got a roof over their head. Yeah. But the cost of housing is just, it's blown completely out of proportion. You know, our kids be lucky to ever own a home, honestly, unless they've got a decent job. So while they're trying to do these houses, which is fabulous, you just got to look at Tasmanians a little bit more above, because I had a housing debt reduced for them or removed about 5 years ago, so we already have got the spade in the soil. But even with this housing deal that they're trying to do, the government, it's going to be 2 years before you see that first blot of soil turned over, and this is not going to get any better. Yeah. You know, it's a real fine line between immigration, housing and needing people for jobs. And that's where we're at here.
What do you think, Jackie, can be done at a government level to have an immediate effect for people who are really struggling out there?
What we need is approvals going really fast, and we need to build these things really damn fast. That's what we need to do, and we're just not getting that done.
Will that open the logjam enough? Because it feels like there is such a backlog of people who are trying to find housing that you couldn't build them fast enough. They'd be filled instantaneously anyway. So is this something we need to be worried about?
Yeah, we need to be really worried about it. Like I said, we're about 30 years behind, and I do not see this, even in my lifetime, actually ever catching up, and that's the truth of it.
Oh, my goodness.